The corner auto parts store. For generations, it's been a fixture of American neighborhoods, a place where grease-stained mechanics and weekend DIYers alike could find the right part, get solid advice, and maybe share a story or two. But how did these local institutions come to be? And in an age of online ordering and corporate chains, what's become of them? Today, we're diving into the fascinating history of local auto parts stores, from their humble beginnings in the early days of motoring to their fight for survival in the digital age. This is a story of innovation, community, and the enduring value of expertise you can't download. The story of auto parts stores begins naturally with the automobile itself. In the early 1900s, cars were luxury items, handcrafted and rare. When something broke, and things broke often, owners typically returned to the manufacturer or sought out a skilled blacksmith or machinist who could fabricate a replacement part. But as Henry Ford's assembly line revolutionized production in 1913, making cars affordable for the average American, everything changed. Suddenly, there were thousands, then millions of vehicles on the road, and they all needed maintenance and repairs. The first auto parts suppliers emerged from this necessity. Many were former bicycle shop owners, blacksmiths, or general store proprietors who saw an opportunity. They'd stock basic items, spark plugs, fan belts, oil, and simple tools. These weren't specialized stores yet, just entrepreneurs adding automotive supplies to their existing inventory. By the 1920s, as car ownership exploded, dedicated auto parts stores began appearing in cities and towns across America. These early shops were typically small, family-owned operations. The owner knew cars inside and out, often working as a mechanic themselves. They'd order parts from manufacturers and regional distributors, building relationships that would last decades. The 1930s and 40s marked a period of steady growth for local auto parts stores, despite the challenges of the Great Depression and World War II. During the Depression, people held on to their cars longer, making repairs rather than buying new. This actually boosted the parts business. World War II brought its own unique dynamics. With automobile production halted for the war effort, keeping existing vehicles running became a matter of national importance. Parts stores became essential businesses, and their owners became respected figures in their communities, the people who kept America moving. The post-war boom of the 1950s was transformative. Returning veterans bought homes in new suburbs, and those homes needed cars, often two per family. The interstate highway system expanded, car culture flourished, and local auto parts stores thrived. This era saw the rise of the classic American parts store, a cluttered shop with parts stacked to the ceiling, a worn counter where the owner held court, and a loyal customer base who wouldn't dream of going anywhere else. These stores were community hubs. Mechanics would stop by multiple times a day. Shade tree mechanics would spend Saturday mornings there, getting advice on their latest project. The owner knew everyone by name, remembered what car they drove, and could often diagnose a problem just by listening to a customer's description. This personal knowledge was the store's greatest asset, an irreplaceable form of expertise. The 1960s and 70s represented the golden age of independent auto parts stores. The number of vehicles on American roads continued to climb. Cars were still relatively simple mechanically, making DIY repairs feasible for many owners. And the parts business was fragmented enough that local stores could compete effectively. Many stores expanded during this period, adding employees, increasing inventory, and sometimes opening additional locations. Second and third generations joined family businesses. The industry developed its own culture, with trade associations, specialized distributors, and a shared sense of professional identity. But even during this golden age, the seeds of disruption were being planted. Regional chains began forming, consolidating multiple stores under single ownership. These chains could negotiate better prices with suppliers and invest in inventory management systems that individual stores couldn't afford. The 1980s brought seismic changes to the auto parts industry. This was the decade when national chains emerged and began their aggressive expansion. AutoZone opened in 1979 and quickly grew. Advance Auto Parts, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and others followed similar strategies: standardized stores, extensive inventory, competitive pricing, and a focus on the do-it-yourself customer. These chains had significant advantages. They could buy in massive volume, reducing costs. They invested in computerized inventory systems that could tell you instantly if a part was in stock, not just at one store, but across their entire network. They offered consistent hours, professional marketing, and a shopping experience that felt modern and efficient. For local stores, this was an existential threat. Many couldn't compete on price or inventory breadth. Some sold out to the chains. Others doubled down on what made them unique: personal service, specialized knowledge, and relationships with professional mechanics who valued expertise over convenience. The 1990s accelerated these trends. Chain stores continued their expansion, often opening multiple locations in the same city. They began offering services like free battery testing, tool loaner programs, and diagnostic help, services that had once been the exclusive domain of knowledgeable local store owners. Meanwhile, the cars themselves were changing. Electronic fuel injection, computer engine management, and increasingly complex systems made DIY repairs more challenging. This shifted some business away from weekend mechanics and toward professional repair shops, changing the dynamics of the parts business. Many independent stores adapted by focusing on the professional mechanic market. They offered commercial accounts, delivery services, and specialized parts that chains might not stock. They became experts in sourcing hard-to-find components for older vehicles or specialized applications. Then came the internet. The 2000s brought a new form of competition that would prove even more disruptive than chain stores: online retailers. Companies like Rock Auto offered vast catalogs of parts at prices that neither local stores nor even chain stores could match. The advantages of online retail were compelling: unlimited virtual inventory, lower overhead costs, easy price comparison, and the convenience of home delivery. For many consumers, especially younger ones comfortable with e-commerce, ordering parts online became the default choice. This digital disruption hit local stores particularly hard. They were already struggling against chain stores. Now they faced competitors with no physical locations at all. Some stores tried to establish their own online presence, but competing with specialized e-commerce companies proved difficult. The 2010s saw continued consolidation in the industry. More independent stores closed or were acquired. The survivors were typically those who had found a sustainable niche, serving professional mechanics specializing in particular vehicle types, or offering services that online retailers couldn't provide. Interestingly, even the major chains felt pressure from online competition. They responded by developing their own e-commerce platforms, offering in-store pickup for online orders, and emphasizing services that required physical presence, like installation assistance and diagnostic testing. So where does this leave us today? The landscape of auto parts retail has been fundamentally transformed. The corner auto parts store of the 1960s, the cluttered shop run by a knowledgeable owner who knew every customer, has largely disappeared. Yet, independent stores haven't vanished entirely. Those that remain have typically evolved significantly. Many have modernized their operations, implementing inventory management systems, establishing online ordering, and professionalizing their business practices while maintaining the personal touch that's always been their strength. Successful independent stores today often focus on specific niches. Some specialize in performance parts for enthusiasts. Others focus on commercial accounts, providing same-day delivery and technical support to repair shops. Some have become experts in particular vehicle makes or types: European cars, diesel trucks, or classic vehicles. The value proposition has shifted from "we have parts" to "we have expertise." In an era when anyone can order a part online, the knowledge to diagnose problems correctly, source the right component, and provide installation guidance becomes increasingly valuable. There's also been a modest resurgence of interest in local businesses generally. Some consumers, particularly in smaller communities, consciously choose to support independent stores over chains or online retailers. They value the personal relationships, the local economic impact, and the expertise that comes from decades of experience. Looking ahead, the future of local auto parts stores remains uncertain, but not without hope. The challenges are real. Continued pressure from chains and online retailers, the increasing complexity of modern vehicles, and generational shifts in how people shop and maintain their cars. Electric vehicles represent both a threat and an opportunity. They require fewer parts and less maintenance than traditional vehicles, potentially shrinking the overall market. But they also require specialized knowledge that creates opportunities for stores willing to invest in training and new inventory. The stores most likely to survive and thrive will be those that continue to evolve. This means embracing technology, not as a replacement for personal service, but as a tool to enhance it. It means finding and defending niches where local expertise provides genuine value, and it means building relationships with the next generation of mechanics and car enthusiasts. What's clear is that there will always be a need for automotive expertise. Cars break down, parts wear out, and while you can order components online, you can't download the knowledge to diagnose a mysterious noise or the experience to know which of 3 similar parts will actually solve your problem. The local auto parts store, in whatever form it takes in the future, remains a vital part of the automotive ecosystem. It's where professional knowledge meets community need, where relationships matter as much as inventory, and where the tradition of keeping America's vehicles running continues, one part at a time. The corner store may look different than it did 50 years ago, but its essential purpose endures, helping people keep their cars on the road one repair at a time.